Good everyone. I don't know if you can hear me. Hello, can you hear me? I can't hear.
Hi, yes. Yes, we can.
Yes, I can.
Please, if you can hear me, can you just do a thumbs up in the chat box or okay. 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 Good day, everyone. Empowered African Youth Foundation welcomes you all, participants, speakers, everyone here today. Welcome you all to She Inspire Africa Conference. She Inspire EAYF is a non-governmental organization that is committed to the empowerment of African youth and promoting entrepreneurship in Africa. EAYF's vision is to build Africa's largest network for youth and young entrepreneurs. This particular conference is organized under the aegis of Red Rose Africa project. Red Rose Africa is an initiative that aims to empower African women by creating a safe network for women and female entrepreneurs. The project falls under a pillar of youth networking and partnership. This e-conference hopes to highlight the opportunities available as well as challenges confronting African women in entrepreneurship, networking, career, and tech. So we are grateful to EAYF for this opportunity / platform. Today, we are shining the spotlight on 7 beautiful and amazing speakers from Nigeria, Morocco, Brazil, Germany, and Mexico. So I'm just going to briefly read out the bio of the speakers. Please don't forget, we are going to send a survey form to the email addresses registered with us. So we'll be expecting your feedback. You can scan, we generated a QR code. So you can scan the barcode and fill out the survey form immediately after the session. Thank you. I'd like to read out the bio of the speakers. In no particular order of importance, we have Karika Yonreme. She is a networking and people strategy expert. She has experience in business development strategy for international companies in Africa, the Middle East, Europe, and South America. She also partners with executives, entrepreneurs, and professionals to grow their personal brands. She has educated over 4,000 entrepreneurs and professionals in areas of personal branding and networking. She leads the leadership development at an academy that has curated curriculums to empower over 5,000 female professionals and entrepreneurs globally. Karika is a business leader that contributes to the socio-economic development of Africa through people strategy, networking, and technology. Our second speaker is, just can you change the slide? Our second speaker is Sarah Krause. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Sorry if I mispronounced it. Sarah Krause graduated with academic distinction from Holt International Business School with a master's degree in international business. She connects and engages Holt community with volunteering opportunities in the greater Boston area as the vice president of the volunteering club. She also participated in the IXL Beyond 6 Feet Apart program. She developed an action plan with more than 25 possible measures to optimize the processes of a Hispanic supermarket in Boston during the pandemic. Wow. She has worked as a logistics consultant at Volkswagen AG prior to moving to the United States. She currently volunteers with American Red Cross Food Pantry Boston online school support for children during the pandemic. She is a coach and the leader of the table tennis youth division of a club in Germany. Welcome, Sarah. Our next speaker is Kalekan Nuka. Kalekan Nuka is a multi-influential and passionate entrepreneur. She's the proud founder of a business development platform called K-Business. She works with The Entrepreneur Africa, a pan-African organization for African entrepreneurs, as a business development strategist. She is popularly known as the smart networking boss. She teaches people practically how to make, maintain, and leverage on productive connections and network. Through her smart networking course, she equips people with the networking skills required to build their career, grow their businesses, and elevate their influence. She is a sustainable development goals advocate as she devotes her time and makes contribution and partners with NGOs working on them. She's a public speaker, majorly focusing on topics such as business and social impacts. She also believes in the expression of her multi-dimensions in media, medicine, and business. Welcome, Kaleka. Our next speaker is Dunya Lamniuli. If I got that right as well. Dunya is, sorry, I'm waiting for. Dunya graduated with a bachelor degree in general management in Morocco. She recently completed her first master's degree in international business from Hult International Business School in the United States of America. She is currently pursuing a second master's degree in disruptive innovation from Hult International Business School, United States of America as well. She has experience in human resources through her experience in employees' behavior and performance necessities within an organization. She has a passion for consulting for small businesses in growth, has online presence, and does digital marketing. She volunteers her free time towards different social causes. She believes that even if disruptive innovation can be challenging for businesses, it is the best strategy to help them evolve, discover new opportunities, and also reach new markets. Dunya is also a huge animal lover and an artist. Welcome, Dunya. Our next speaker is Jamila Dara. Yes, Jamila Dara. She is the proud founder of Ado Lifestyle, Bikhayi, Transport Services, Bubbles and Rubs, and Body Pamper Place. Thank you, Dunya. Thank you, Ogo, for welcoming me. You're welcome, Dunya. She's a graduate of Information Technology from Lim Kok Wing University of Creative Technology in Malaysia. She's also a graduate of Public Administration from Georgia Southern University in Georgia, USA. Jamila is a professional makeup artist from Visio Makeup Academy in California, USA. She is a trained esthetician from Aesthetica Facial Academy in also California, USA. Jamila is a licensed cosmetologist under the state of Georgia. She is a blogger / creator for www.adolifestyle.net and a YouTuber / content creator for Ado Lifestyle channel. Jamila is currently researching latest IT trends, analyzing Jamila's, I believe that's her hobby. So her hobby is researching latest IT trends, analyzing political happenings or writings. Welcome, you're very much welcome, Jamila. Our next speaker is Lara Drimares. I hope I pronounced that well. Lara is the co-founder and tutor of the NGO Cambia, an initiative that aims to improve the education of Brazilian public schools. That's a group of over 30 young volunteers that teach innovative and creative subjects in public schools in the south of Brazil. Laura is a lawyer and a recent graduate from Hart International Business School, Boston, USA. She is passionate about new cultures. That's why she probably decided to study abroad for her master's degree and chose a school with students from more than 65 different nationalities. Wow. She currently works with civil, corporate, and international law as Esteves Advogados in Porto Alegre, Brazil, for over 3 years. Laura loves to learn new languages. She's currently fluent in Portuguese, which is her mother tongue, Spanish, English, and she has intermediate level in French and Italian. Wow. Bienvenue, Laura. She is focusing on how automation can improve the quality of legal services. She's working on tech solutions in order to optimize the workload and provide a better final service. Laura is passionate about technology, education, and multicultural environments. Une fois de plus, bienvenue, Laura. Our next speaker is Andrea Martinez. Andrea has an MSc in International Business Marketing. She was born in Monterrey, Mexico. She is currently living in San Francisco, where she's pursuing her dual degree in disruptive innovation as well from Hart International Business School. Andrea founded Studio 37, which is a dance academy, in 2019. She is a consultant for Sueños Basketball in Massachusetts, Boston, USA. She is also a project and logistics manager that helps to promote leadership in women. Andrea has volunteered in multiple non-governmental organizations, and she's always looking for ways to give back to others. That's very, very good. Andrea is a people person, and she's also passionate about leadership and entrepreneurship. Welcome, 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 welcome again to all our speakers. We are so excited to have you here, to say the least, and we are looking forward to a very, very insightful, amazing, and mutually beneficial experience. Our speakers are here to share very important lessons, insights, and experience from their journey in business, career, tech, entrepreneurship, by giving us both an African and international perspective. My name is Ogochukwu Esenwa. You can call me Ogo. I'm a lawyer, currently practicing in Nigeria, and I'll be your moderator/host for the next 90 minutes. So as you might know by now, the timing for this conference is 90 minutes. And for the next 90 minutes, I'm going to pose at least one question to each speaker, and each speaker has within the range of 5 to 10 minutes to answer the questions posed to them. We have two panels. The first panel has, I think, 3 speakers. So once we entertain questions and once the speakers from the first panel addresses the questions, we'll move on to Q&A. So without wasting further time, my first question goes to Karika Yonreme. Karika, please, you can unmute your mic. My question, okay, first of all, networking. People say that networking means establishing and nurturing long-term relationships that can be beneficial. So your networks could be people who provide mentorships, who provide referrals and other valuable opportunities. Some people say that the most connected people are often the most successful. So my question to you is this. I have 2 questions for you, Karika. My first question is this. Based on your experience in networking, what is the relevance of networking for African female entrepreneurs? The second question is, highlight practical ways and useful tips to network and capitalize on available networking opportunities.
Thank you very much, Ogo, for your question. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really excited to be here. So before I answer your 2 questions, I would want to...
Sorry, I can't hear you, Karika.
Can you hear me clearly?
Hello, please, can anyone hear?
Others can hear me.
I can't hear her.
We can hear her clearly.
I'm trying to see what the problem is. I'm not hearing Karika.
Laura, Sarah, can you hear me? Jamila, okay.
Yes.
Oh, you all can
We can
hear.
hear you,
Oh,
Karika.
how come I'm the only one
Okay.
not hearing? I can't hear her. I don't.
Okay. We can proceed though. Maybe.
Let me try and log out and log back in. I'm so sorry for this glitch.
Thank you.
I can't
Okay,
hear her.
so let me continue.
My computer is not in mute. It's not muted.
Okay, so I would continue. So I would say that before I proceed to answer August's questions, I would like to explain, just give a brief introduction about what networking is. Firstly, networking is not a place, networking is a lifestyle. So every time, everything we're doing, we're all networking. For instance, today I have networked with Laura, Sarah, Andrea, Jamila. It's networking is really human interaction. And it's important for you to understand this, for me to answer the next question that he asked me. So again, networking is not a place, it's a lifestyle, right? And networking can be defined as the exchange of value. It's important to note that because it would come in handy when you start networking. So to answer your question, based on my experience, why do I think networking is relevant for African female entrepreneurs? There are so many reasons why, but I would give three main reasons. Number one is entrepreneurship is, as an entrepreneur, you run a business, you have a business, or you have an idea that you're trying to either monetize or impact society with, right? And for you to have a successful business or for you to have a successful venture, three things are necessary: networking, building relationships, and taking action. And some of the relevance for you to build your network include: one, shared knowledge. As an entrepreneur, you need to understand that no man is an island, and that you need people, you need communities, you need resources. So so you're in the business, right? Yeah, when you're in a sector, you need to understand that everyone in that sector, they have similar um pains that they go through, similar challenges. They have people are also resource, people can help you. So for you to have a successful business, for you to go forward in life, you really need shared knowledge. As much as you might know a lot of things, the truth is that you never know enough. You need people. Everybody has different perspectives to offer. I was looking at Sarah's bio, and the fact that she has experience in Germany and America. And I found that very interesting because I have a lot of questions. I know I've read a lot about Germany, I have visited Germany, but guess what? She has a lot of perspectives to offer to me that I normally might not have, right? Same thing with Laura, same thing with Jamila. So again, you have knowledge, but people have additional knowledge to offer. They have additional perspective to offer. So that's the first reason. The second thing is opportunities. For you to be a successful entrepreneur, you need opportunities. How do you get opportunities? Remember, you do not know everything. You cannot have your eyes and ears everywhere. So when you network with people, you get to hear about opportunities, you get to hear about new industry trends, you get to hear about upcoming regulations and whatnot. So the second thing is opportunities. The third is increased confidence. So when you think about networking and personal branding are closely related. When you network, the more you network, the more confident you are. So for example, you start small by networking with people in your immediate community. The more you're able to network with them, the more confident you are, such that when you go to bigger platforms or global platforms, you're able to connect with people. So three major things. I mean, there's so many reasons, but because of our time, I'll keep it short. One, shared knowledge. No man is an island. You need people. I've networked with everyone here and they're amazing. They all have offered within the last 10 minutes, we've had discussions and they've offered interesting insights to things that I do not know about. The second thing is opportunities. You can never have your eyes and ears everywhere. You need people to give you insight into, opportunities that you might never know about. The third one is increased confidence. The more you network, the more your confidence increases. So that's the answer to the first question. The second question, what are the practical ways for you to network, right? I would say number one, you need to understand that you are the value. And why is this important? If you do not know how valuable you are, you will never be able to present yourself to the world. You will struggle with, one of the reasons when I talk to my clients, one of the reasons why people don't network is because of the fear of rejection. But when you understand that, Laura is the value, when you understand that Sarah is amazing and she has something to offer to the world, when you understand that Ogo is the best thing that has happened since sliced bread, when you understand that Jamila is amazing, when you understand that Andrea has something unique to offer to the world, it gives you that confidence to network, right? So the very first thing I would say is understanding that you are the value. Every day I tell myself, Karika is the value. And when that understanding, I talk to business leaders from all over the world. I'm not afraid because I'm like, I have something unique to offer to them. So that's the very first thing. Then the other ways, practical ways you can network. 2, research. Research. Remember I said networking is the exchange of value. How do you give value when you do not research? So you need to research, know more about. So for example, now I was able to talk to Sarah because not only have I visited Germany, but I have done a lot of reading about Germany, right? So that way we're able to have a conversation. Imagine if I didn't know anything about Germany and I'm just like, hi, Sarah, hello, how are you? Fine, hope you're good, okay, and boom, that's it. But because I have some additional knowledge, I can ask questions. Oh, Laura, I was in Brazil. Oh, where were you? Were you in Sao Paulo? And I said, oh, no, I was in Rio. Research. It helps you to keep the conversation going. The third thing I would say is maximize your online presence. We're in the new normal. Corona has shown us that, virtual economy is here to stay. So maximize your online presence. And the good thing about your online presence is that you don't need to be there physically. So from your phone, from your bed, you can literally reach anywhere in the world, So that's the third thing. So I'll keep it short because of time. So 3 ways to network, practical ways to network. Number 1, you are the value. Laura is the value. Sarah is the value. Ogo is amazing. You need to always remember that. You need to remind yourself because it has a way of making you understand that, you're good enough. And that is something that people are scared about when it comes to networking. The second thing is research. Research, because networking is the exchange of value. Find out, you're going to a community. What's the community about? What do they need? How can you be a value contributing person in that community, right? And then the third thing is maximize your online presence. It is extremely important. You can make, I have an online business. I make money online. You can make a lot of money and impact online. So learn how to leverage those 3. Those will be my answers to, the questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Karika, for hitting the nail on the head. Like, I really love the way you were very, very concise with your answers. And if we're not going to take anything from this at all, just remember that you are the value. You are the value. So moving on to our next speaker, Sarah Kraus. In many countries, women are much more involved in businesses that have social impact rather than traditional companies. At least that's what my research showed. Social entrepreneurship applies to enterprises that create businesses and organizations focused on social change. For example, according to an OECD working paper, the gender gap in social entrepreneurship is smaller than the gender gap in mainstream entrepreneurship. And this suggests that social entrepreneurship can be a powerful tool to increase female participation in mainstream entrepreneurship. So flowing from that common perception, my question to you, Sarah, is flowing from a common perception that social enterprises are mostly dominated by women. Remember, it's just a perception. Do you think that social entrepreneurship can be used as a tool for increasing female participation in mainstream entrepreneurship?
Thank you, Ogo, and thank you all for joining today. I really like that question because I think it's a very, very important one. You already explained about the difference between social entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship in itself. I really want to make one differentiation between social entrepreneurs, NGOs and nonprofits, and the traditional businesses before I answer that question, actually, because I think it's important. So for us, social always has the annotation to do something good for the society, for the environment, to have some cause, like a good cause in why are we doing businesses. So I think it's very closely related, and some of you might even think, oh, it's like an NGO or a nonprofit. But there's actually one really, really important difference in a social entrepreneur between the NGOs and nonprofits. And this is that they have a business plan, they are selling goods or they're selling services, and they create profits. This is what makes them more like a traditional business. They create profit, they are there to create profits normally. And the difference lays then in how they use these profits. So profits in social entrepreneurs go more in the direction of the NGOs because they use profits for social impact and to scale the good cause that they are promoting. So a social entrepreneur or a social enterprise is really a mix between NGO and the traditional business. It combines both of it. And when you ask me the question if it can be used as a tool to increase the female participation in mainstream entrepreneurship, I think it's very important to first look at why is there a difference in the dominance of women in social entrepreneurship and mainstream entrepreneurship. And maybe you already started a business or you think about starting a business, but take 10 seconds to just think about, why do you want to start that business? And then if you identify why you want to do it, you can figure out, oh, where is it located? Is it in the social sector? Is it a social entrepreneur enterprise, or is it a traditional one, which is then more focusing on increasing your own wealth instead of doing something good for the society? And there's a really interesting survey conducted from the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor. Last year, they asked men and women in over 50 countries around the world about the motivation of starting a business. And the results show pretty clearly that women mostly start businesses and are motivated to start businesses because they want to make a difference in the world. And for men, of course, this is as well the reason that they have. But the most dominated trait is that they say they want to start a business because they want to build great wealth and a very high income for themselves and their families. So we have these two very distinct motivations there. We have the women who really want to make a difference in the world, and we have the men who are more concerned and want to build great wealth for themselves and their families. And I think this is the clue why we have so many women in social entrepreneurs, in social enterprises, because they create a social enterprise to use the profits created to make a difference in the world for social cause, while men dominate the traditional entrepreneurship, where it's more about to earn personal profits and to earn personal value. So I think this goes very well with your findings, Ogo, that you find more women in social entrepreneurship than in the traditional one. And I think with this baseline knowledge, we can ask, is it is social entrepreneurship a tool for to increase the dominance of women in the traditional entrepreneurship? And I don't think so, because I'd rather think that the traditional and personal profit-oriented businesses will change in the next years, maybe decades, and get more socially responsible enterprises. So the social enterprises are more likely to become the new mainstream than actually being a tool to increase women presence in the mainstream one. And I don't consider it to be a tool, because I'd rather see the social entrepreneurships to be the mainstream one in the future. When you think about it, we talk about corporate social responsibility in companies since years. It is really something that enterprises all over the world are taking in their profile, that they're incorporating in their strategies, and that they use to differentiate from one another. So as companies use their corporate social responsibilities, their good cause to differentiate, customers are getting more and more aware of it. And they, in Europe at least, it's they're already expecting it from company. So I personally, I don't go and buy shoes that are made from a child, and my neighbor is not doing it, and the woman across the street is not doing it either. It is
Nobody once told me the world is
Sorry,
gonna roll.
please, can you mute your microphone? Please, can all participants mute their microphone? Sorry to cut you short, Sarah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Please go on.
So it's like there's a demand of not doing something just because it's profitable. It has to have a good cause. You want fair chocolate, and you're willing to pay a little bit more of it just because you know there is something you're supporting. So at least in Germany, we are willing to pay for a sustainable and fair product. And I think this movement towards this more sustainable and fair consumer goods and services is really what will drive and influence how enterprises will be structured in the future. And this is why I don't think we need to empower women to become mainstream or traditional entrepreneurs or see the social entrepreneurship as a tool. I think they're going to be the new mainstream ones. We need to empower ourselves and women to start social enterprises, or reform the traditional enterprises to be social ones, because this will be the future. And I think this really starts within ourselves. It starts within ourselves believing that we can be a change, that we can focus on that. And this belief that people in the social sector have, because they see, they have a vision, they have a goal, they want to promote, I don't know, they want less child labor or no child labor. They want less fires that are burning down the woods, whatever the cause is, the goal is. They see it clearly, and they don't ask, can I do it? Can I make a difference there? They ask how. And I think this what people learn in the social enterprise is about asking the question about the how can I do it? How can I drive change? This is the tool that we will need in the future to really empower women, to empower enterprises, to really drive the change there, and then to become the new mainstream one. And I think this is this is my perspective, how I see it. What will happen in the future about women in business, about women in entrepreneurs. I don't think that the way we currently perceive entrepreneurs, enterprises and entrepreneurs, and how we distinguish it, how we categorize it, will be the one that will be still there in 20 years. I think it will change, and what is now categorized as being social will be the new normal.
Thank you very, very much, Sarah. This was very, very insightful. Actually, I'm just learning. You said that the difference between social entrepreneurship and mainstream entrepreneurship is the motivational factor. Whilst mainstream entrepreneurship, the motivation is wealth creation, if I'm correct. Social entrepreneurship motivational factor is social change. So you reinvest back into the society, reinvest back into the community. So rather than using social entrepreneurship as a tool to drive women into participation in mainstream entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship is going to be the new mainstream entrepreneurship. That's a good one. Thank you very much, Sarah. So over to our next speaker, Kaleka. Kaleka, our question for you today is, sorry, please, can you go back to the previous slide? People say that one of the most the key predictor for success is your strength in personal networking, your personal networking skills. So given the power of a strong professional network and the power that it can have over your success, please, can we mute our microphones? Please, can all participants mute their microphones? Given the power that your networking can have on your career success or whatever field or industry you have, my question for you is, what are the most effective ways to manage and overcome possible networking challenges that confront female entrepreneurs?
Okay, thank you so much, Ogo. I'm so glad to be here. Welcome, everyone. And I've heard from so many speakers, and I myself am learning a lot from Karika, from Sarah, and I hope to learn more from everyone here. So the question is, what are the possible ways to overcome the challenges that women face during networking? I think it would be right for me I would like to just start first with some challenges that women face in the process of networking. Generally, our society, as you can see, there is a very strong hold of, for us here, I don't know, in Africa especially, there's a very strong hold of patriarchy in Africa. So there is this male dominance that, even though a lot of people feel like the people who speak about it are delirious, but it's very real and it's pronounced in the career ladder, quote and unquote. So women have that challenge that generally in the society, the society doesn't really expect much from us. They rate the man higher than the woman automatically, and I've experienced this. So I think it was Mrs. Ola Brown. She was in a conference or so. I don't know exactly the scenario, but I remember what she said very clearly. She said she was in the midst of some men and she was speaking to them boldly, and they were about to discuss something, and someone excused her, like, excuse me, we are about to talk about something more important that you shouldn't be there to listen to and all. So that societal perception of women sort of poses as a limitation for women. But as women, I believe I'm on a women conference here, but as women, we need to have a proper sense of our value. We need to have a proper sense of our value. Just like Karika has said, a lot of women suffer from imposter syndrome. A lot of women already don't feel like they are not good enough already. But when you place the things that they've done, the series of things that they've done, the achievements that they've achieved, and compare it to their male counterparts, they have done a lot more. But men are bold enough to proclaim that I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. They are bold enough to own up. While women have the tendency to naturally water down their achievements. So when I coach people, I tell them that no matter what it is that you achieve, like no matter how small it is, you should be proud and you should be bold enough to laud it, because no one else is going to help you laud it. That's it. And then secondly, I'll still come back to our culture here. Women are not naturally the ones to do the approaching. Many times women wait to be spoken to before they speak. And so I go out to places, and when I boldly introduce myself to people, I can see the reaction on their faces. I can see the reaction on their faces, because generally it's just women have the tendency of, I don't want to feel like I'm too forward. I don't want to feel like I don't want them to perceive me as me too, I'm running or something like that. I remember when there was a female candidate for the presidential elections in Nigeria.
there were a lot of people who were saying it, on Twitter, that even this woman too wants to run. And I was amazed, because this woman is someone who has achieved a lot. Also, this woman is someone who has, what it takes to rule the nation, right? So that culture of waiting to be spoken to, that culture of not, I don't want to look like I'm too forward. Many times men are bold enough for whatever reason to go for what they want, but a lot of women don't have that mindset. So that's the mindset that I try to correct, especially with women, right? So another challenge that women face in the process of networking is some people, and I'm talking practically from the number of people that I've spoken to, why don't you talk to people? Why don't you, when you go out, let's say someone goes out with me and I'm socializing, and then the person is just on one side, and then she goes, I don't want them to think that they don't want to be hit on, quote and unquote. So they don't know how to draw that line between professional and leading someone on into a romantic relationship, right? So they don't want the guys, they feel like automatically, if I'm speaking to a guy or I'm speaking to someone, the person is going to want to hit on me. The person will want to have a relationship with me, form a conversation along that line. So these are some things that women face. A lot of women have a problem with their self-image. They don't, maybe because of their past experiences, because of how people have treated them. Probably they've been in abusive relationships, or nobody has really told them that they are people of value. And that's why I'm so excited that Karika brought that up. In fact, they don't know that they are people of value. So they have a huge problem with their self-image, and it automatically affects how they present themselves in the public. So how do they overcome a lot of these things? First of all, let's maybe talk about the self-image part of it. You need to know that you're a person of value. And I usually explain that there is something that is called your innate value, which is the fact that you are born, the fact that you are alive, you're on earth. It means that you have something to offer, right? Even that sense of innate value, some people don't have it. And it's amazing. It would amaze you that some people feel like, why am I even on this earth? I'm nothing. Some people can call themselves nothing. And I've seen people, I've heard it. It's not hearsay. I've heard it, So that self-image, you need to start from there. How do you see yourself? Who do you see in the mirror? Write it down. Who do you see in the mirror? Write that epistle to yourself. When I look in the mirror, I see a woman of substance. I see a woman that is going to change the world. I see a woman whose voice will be heard. I see a woman who will change, who will impact the economies of nations. You should be able to boldly declare those things to yourself. Now, if you've experienced things like violence, you need to understand that those things were not your fault. Sexual violence, you notice there are some people who notice, and I'm talking practically from experience with interactions with people. They tell me that every time I talk to a guy, he wants to have a sexual relation with me. And I told the young lady that you need to start recalibrating your thinking, that a man can see you as a woman of value, as a woman of substance, as a person that is useful in the workplace, as a person that is useful to chair a particular process, because it could be her mind, her perception of herself that makes her feel that way and present herself that way. Automatically, people relate with her in that direction, right? So a lot of work has to start from our self-image. Then secondly, concerning our culture, there are a lot of women who are already speaking against patriarchy. Even if people misunderstand greatly the idea of feminism, people misunderstand. And I know that that's a topic that many people don't want to talk about because it raises a lot of controversies. People misunderstand that concept, and I'm so proud of the women who stand boldly to talk about the women's place in the world, to talk about how women also deserve the opportunities that men get almost on a platter of gold, right? So we need to understand that we are all human. We are all human, male or female. Your genital organ is not what gives you the value that you have, right? And then lastly, I would like to talk about sorry. Okay, lastly, I would like to talk about how do I put this? How do you overcome that feeling? How do you separate the professional relationship from the romantic relationship, quote and unquote? So first of all, the way you present yourself, if you're in a conversation with a male counterpart and then you're permitting discussions about you're permitting discussions about your looks, you're permitting discussions about your appearance, you're permitting discussions about, some people permit discussions about sex outrightly, and they are not professional in their dealings. You don't expect that the person is going to take you seriously, right? So when you present yourself as someone who is, professional, that will rarely come up. And then sometimes you present yourself professionally, but the person doesn't have that discipline. You need to know where to draw the line. You need to know where to cut the conversation. Sometimes not every single person is worth networking with, quote and unquote. So if you see that this person, oh my God, I've overshot
Yes,
my time.
thank you so much,
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
No, but we are learning. Thank you so much, Kaleka, for that. I personally have had that experience, like wanting or trying so much to limit myself to the people that I speak to, just to avoid that personal encounter with them. But learning now, I learned over the years that it's not, is the way you present yourself. Like you said, have a proper sense of value, laud your achievements, don't wait to be spoken to, be professional in all your dealings. You've said it all. Thank you so much. I think this is all we have for the first panel. So we are going to entertain questions, Q&A session. We're going to entertain questions from our participants. Please, if you have any questions, you can leave it in the chat box or you can directly ask the speakers. Thank you so much. Questions, Q&A. Someone has a comment, I think, Rekiatu Muhammad, inadequate support system on favorable business environments for women in marketing. Yes, that's a very, very good one. Unfavorable business environments for women in marketing and society in general. As women, we need to have a change of mindset, just as Kaleka has said, develop ourselves in terms of knowledge and draw a very, very sharp line between personal and work relationships. It may be very, very easy. In fact, it's very, very difficult. Like some people are very, very adamant, but you have to draw that line yourself. You have to make a conscious, you have to be very, very intentional about drawing the line between personal and work relationships, because men will always be men. So you have to draw that line by yourself. Right on point, Kaleka. Thanks for that necessary speech. Please, we're entertaining questions from the participants. As women, are we comfortable with being referred to as female entrepreneurs? Well, I think some people call themselves womenpreneurs. Am I right? But I mean, female entrepreneur is the generic name, I think. I don't know. I stand to be corrected. Please, questions. I think my own comment is that, like Rick Hiatu said, unfavorable business environment, and just like Kaleka said, the society itself is the main struggle. So you have to, I think it's a continuous struggle. You have to always make that attempt. Like people will try to bring you down, people will shame you for so many things, but you just have to, we are getting there. I believe we're getting there. Thank you, Sarah and Kale. Great presentations. Please, we're waiting for questions. Waiting for questions. Please, we just heard amazing women talk. You have to have questions. Please, waiting for questions. If you don't have any questions, I think we will have to move on because of time. Questions? Okay. So since no one is asking any question, that's fine. If there are no questions, lots of amazing nuggets have been shared. People are probably exactly. Thank you so much. So we're going to move on while you reflect, while you all reflect. But we'll still have a Q&A, another Q&A session. We can move on to the second panel. And for the second panel, we're starting with Dunya Lamniuli.
Hi.
Welcome once again, Dunya.
Thank you so much, Ogo.
Yes. Representation of African women or women generally in male-dominated industries like technology has been an ongoing concern for an ongoing conversation actually for some time now. So we want to know, the first thing we want to know is, are there equal opportunities for men and women in tech industries? And the second question is, what are the key challenges for female representation in male-dominated industries like tech as well?
All right, thank you so much, Ogo, for the invitation and for the questions. So to start, the technology industry is going to be my future industry, but I did my research. I lived in Morocco. I did some years in Canada and USA. So I know a little bit from not just Africa, but worldwide. So Ogo, just to start, when it comes to tech industry, men are smarter than women. Men are some trusted people than women. Technology is not for women, and women are to be home, raise kids, and cook. So those are the stereotypes that breaks women's motivation, that make them believe they are inferior and feel useless, just like what Kaleka explained. Not only in tech industry, but so many other industries. And we've seen that in like business, like what Kaleka talked about in entrepreneur and all other industries. I will give you just a few numbers so that you can see in general the difference between men and women in tech industry. Can you believe that women make up just 40% of total global workforce? This is according to a report by the World Bank. 46% of women have reported that they have been experiencing discrimination in the European tech sector, 46%. Women in the ICT sector, which is information and communication technology, earn 19% less than men. Does anyone see an equal opportunity here? This has many reasons. And I can start by a simple reason that is obvious, which is education. And it's not women's problem, it's general. Girls are less likely to study STEAM subjects. STEAM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Believe me if I say it's not a preference question. The inequality we see in tech industry and the workplace in general begins with many other causes, but this education. There is a whole history of women discrimination, and it's just so unfortunate. Women did not have the same right of education as men, then the inequality in the classrooms. Well, I'm talking as an African, and I know this is a huge problem here too, still existing in many countries, like in Morocco, and this is so sad. The fact that maths, physics, and chemistry are perceived to be more male subjects acts as a deterrent for some female students who otherwise be interested, but because of these stereotypes, they will be like, well, it's a male subject. There are more maybe smart, they think, or maybe more, strong in tech industries or subjects in general. It also means that girls are less likely to be pushed forward in these areas. I strongly believe that Morocco, even if there are many boys in school choosing STEAM subjects than girls, I did my school, all my years in high school in Morocco. And I know that girls are more successful in general and also in these STEAM subjects. And I have seen that so many times, not just in one school or one classroom. But then in the workplace, men are more trusted than women. And this is the whole problem. They are believed to be more risk takers and all these other stereotypes. Even in the workplace, they're like, he will be stronger, he will know more technology information and all this data stuff, but then women will not know how to, like, even when you go and buy or fix your phone or computer, if you see a small store where there is a woman who is going to fix your thing, or then there is a male, you're going to choose that man. In Morocco, all those stores that fix things, that have those services, are men. I've never seen such thing for women. But this is not limited to tech industries. It's about all the male-dominated industries. Mining and oil industry, heavy industry, civil engineering, which is and I think a young Moroccan woman engineering in Canada, who is my sister, Salima, for her testimony in this part. So here, until the 80s and 90s, the mining industry has mostly men, no place for women. And they were victims of all kinds of toxic realities. Imagine harassment, gender equality, discrimination, and wage gap. And luckily, time has changed, has improved a bit recently, and women started having this opportunity sometimes of integrating some of these industries, but still, they still face all this harassment and all. And they still occupy, even if all of these problems, they still occupy and go to positions as like mining engineers or technicians or miners, like truck and scoop drivers. Nevertheless, these women, as I said earlier, still face harassment. And what companies are trying to do is that they're trying to improve the situation by having harassment policies, both verbal and physical. But in my point of view, women should report any kind of behavior in that type to the HR, thing that they don't do. Women in general, and from my experience in companies, when they face such behavior from men, they don't, and they avoid to report it. Why? Because they sometimes feel that they are the problem. Men sometimes make them feel that they are the problem, not the victim, and make them feel as a liability. And to go back to the tech industry, do you know that the first 1930s coders were women? And there is this famous picture, if you just Google now, 6 women, the first 6 women coders, you will find many articles talking about them as the coders that were in the World War II. At this time, the government didn't have much men to work in that field, so they asked some women to come and take those positions. And they took these pictures, but for so many years, no one knew that they were the heroes of this coding computer and programmed computers that were so, a huge success that time. And they didn't get any recognitions until their late 70s. And they were known as the refrigerator ladies. This is what they called this picture. They were just a role model. They weren't, it was hard for men to believe that those women were successful, did that machine, did that computer program, that thing, they did coding, they did all of this. It was hard for them to believe. So can you imagine that globally, men account for 92% of partners in the top 100 venture capital firms, and female founded startups received only 2%. This is unacceptable. Like 98% vs 2%. I'm sorry. And in Africa, only 9% of startups have women leaders. Many countries in Africa, most female-led enterprises are small businesses, only small businesses with a little opportunity to grow. In Ghana, Nigeria, Morocco, Algeria, Kenya, and financial institutions aren't as quick to grant loans to female entrepreneurs as they were to male entrepreneurs, since men were seen as better risk taker and more likely to succeed. But wait, here's the surprise. Listen, girls, that also breaks the stereotypes that I said earlier. Technology firms led by women, those small technology firms, experience a 35% higher return on investment than those led by men. 35%. That means investors and other venture capitalists lose out by not providing financial support for women-led businesses. They are losing by not doing this.
Thank you so much, Dunya. This is actually very surprising. Not so surprising, but still surprising. Thank you so much. So what is limiting the opportunities for women in male-dominated industries is just culture, stereotypical views, unconscious by exactly. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. For lack of time, we'll be quickly moving on to our next speaker, Jamila. Jamila, welcome once again. Please can you give us a general advisory on how to debunk the general notion that female gender roles like childbirth and or nurturing limit women from reaching the peak of their careers?
Thank you so much for having me, and hi everyone. So thinking about this question since I got it, I actually was thinking about it from two perspectives. I was so eager to go into the IT aspect of it. I was also so eager to go into the public aspect of it as per my qualifications. But first of all, my perspective that I'm going to talk about today is so related to what Kaleka had talked about earlier. And first of all, the limiting, why is it limiting? Why are people saying that when you talk about a woman or where you call the female gender, limitation is the next word? You would see it from two perspectives. You would see it from the perspective of patriarchy. You would see it from the perspective of the corporate world. When you talk about patriarchy, just like Kaleka have said earlier, it is the role that a society have defined that are considered the feminine role, the acceptable role of what a woman should be. Automatically, when you start talking about these roles, you are looking that women are fear is being instilled into women that will limit them from pursuing what they want to pursue. Then you would look at it as breaking the spirit to want to succeed and to seek success. You would see patriarchy instilling low self-confidence in women, because that is going to say that I can't be more and I can't do more because this is what the society has said. When you now talk about the corporate world, patriarchy has been given a very fancy outlook. You're talking about like public policies and policies that have been put in place where you can see from two different perspectives, the advantage group and the disadvantage group. When you take a table of the public policies on roles and things that make things equitable and equal for both genders, women are always on the disadvantaged group, and it doesn't just stop at being a woman. It continues to being a woman of color. So from being a woman of color, then you're saying that a woman of color and a woman of certain religious affiliation, and not just affiliation to any certain kind of religion. You're also talking about her being a mom, and all that. So we're in the box of public policy for the vantage and the disadvantaged group. All the disadvantages for social economic support for women, women are on the disadvantaged group. So it's a woman of color, it's a woman with children, a family to raise, a woman of certain affiliation. So this is where the limitation starts from. Your society, the patriarchy that women have to deal with, then if I am a woman that I want to succeed and I have defeated patriarchy and I want to go into the corporate world, I am going to face what is called the glass ceiling and the false walls. The glass ceiling is going to say that I cannot rise a certain peak in my career. If I am a level 8 officer or staff in an organization, I probably would just be advancing at very defined rate and pace. And if I also, the false wall is that across my own department, I can't go certain ways. There are places I can sit, there are conversations I can participate in, and there are teamworks that my voice, I will be the silent voice in the office because everything I have to say, everything I have to contribute, it is in my head. I cannot say it out because there are men at the table that their voices are solid and stronger than mine. And even when I speak, my voice is still silent because nobody is listening. So when we think about this, then you automatically say that the role for women are so limiting, and achieving the peak of their career is equally so limiting. The question is, what is the way forward? How do we break this ice? We talk about education. Education is very, very important. In education, it is no longer formal education. Informal education in this global age and time has become something that is very, very important. And that is what leads to networking. Networking is not a formal means of learning. It is very informal, except when you go to the institutions to learn networking as a course, as a career, as something in that aspect. So the people that you meet have the potential to educate you through networking, through forming meaningful relationships with your counterpart within your industry and outside of your industry. So under education, I would say 3 things. Women should begin to learn about new things, have a base education and a base foundation that you're going to build upon. When you learn, continue to relearn. Relearning is going to refresh your perspective towards things. You're going to learn about new strategies, new systems, new models. You're going to learn about a lot of things, and that is going to build upon your foundation that you have learned. Then unlearning. People do not see unlearning as a necessity to advance in life. Unlearning is not you taking what you have known, is not you taking what you have relearned and dumping it. It is your ability to sieve through what is working for you. So all the knowledge that you have, you're going to lay them down, you're going to examine, and you're going to filter what is working for you. And that is where, again, it's going to go into forming relationship. If you have a relationship that is not working for you, business relationship and all that, get rid of it. It's still an aspect of unlearning those things that are not working for you. The second thing that would break that ice is socio-economic policies. Balancing what is equal and what is equitable. Gender equality have been reduced to who carries the bag and who wears the pants, who brings food to the table. But that is not what gender equality and equity is. We are fixated on the wrong thing. People don't want to talk about it. But when people come to me and they say gender equality, I tell them, no, I am after gender equity. What is fair? What balances the scale? Because you do not want to feed a certain group of people while taking something away from another group of people. So you want to find a middle point where resources get scaled and spread to people that actually needs it. The third would be skill acquisition and embracing the global self-development strategies to prosper. People It is no longer brick and mortar. It is no longer blue collar, white collar jobs or whatever. You do not have to wake up 8 a.m. to go to an office for you to be able to prosper. I am a typical example of that. I'm still a work in progress, but from the comfort of my home every day, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I work, I earn, and I'm able to prosper using my skills and what I know. So women should learn that global way of prospering. It is a global village. You can earn from home, you can be a mom, you can be a wife, and you can still excel at those things that matter to you. Lastly, I'm going to say that you should throw away the fear that patriarchy and corporate world, glass ceiling and false walls have built for you, and pursue passion. When you are learning in that education part of it, when you are learning, seek and find that which is important, that which speaks to you. I have a degree in information technology and I have a master's in public administration. Politics appeals to me, technology appeals to me, but do you know what else appeals to me? Beauty, the world of beauty appeals to me, and that is my passion, and that is one thing I'm pursuing currently and has given me so much way to earn, to prosper, and to be who I want to be. So I hope these have been able to tell you to go back to learn, to relearn, and to unlearn and find your path. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jamila. The first thing you said is education and networking. Then you also spoke on socioeconomic policies and skill acquisition, self-development. Then also you need to pursue your passion. Thank you so much. Please, let's move on to the next speaker for lack of time. Laura, please, can you tell us what are the causative factors of gender discrimination and unconscious biases against women in the workplace? And are these factors avoidable? If not, how can they be tackled, please?
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really, really happy to be alongside this amazing women. So thank you for the foundation to actually make this event. So yeah, let's start with the question. So actually, the way I see it is that gender discrimination is a structural behavior. So it's one thing that is cultural and that is being made for centuries. So because of that, it's really, really hard to get rid of it. So I think everybody has in some point saw those cute videos from toddlers from BuzzFeed YouTube channel or something like that, that when they are toddlers, they really can't see the difference between their little friends because people don't naturally discriminate. It's something that is being taught and reinforced in the society for ages. So I think the first basic answer to this question is, of course, education. So I agree with everything that Jamila has said right now. This is the answer for the long run. We need to do that right now, but we'll see the impacts of that in the long run. But what can we do immediately? So immediately, I totally agree with Karika when she said about self-confidence. I think this is the key element here where we can use self-confidence in a way to believe that the gender discrimination is not something about Ogo, it's not something about Jamila, it's something that is structural, there's nothing wrong with you. So you have to really believe that. And I know that this is easier said than done because in a society that everybody tries to make you not believe that, it's really hard to reinforce your self-confidence. So I think the answer for that is on building a really, really strong female network. And we didn't agree before the event. We didn't talk about what we would talk today, but I see that we find a lot of similarities, and we're from different countries, and still we are all in the same page in our recommendations and our thoughts, and I'm really happy for that. I've been reading this book that is from Ray Dalio, and he writes about his principles, and it's the guy from Bridgewater. And he says one really, really interesting thing that is, I would love for people to write down their principles, especially people who I admire, because then when I face a situation that is hard, when I'm in a crossroad, I would have a lot of different inputs to try to solve my own problem. But the thing is, people don't usually write down their principles and share with them like Ray Dalio did. So what can we do to have different inputs and try to make them have an impact in our life? Or when you are facing a gender discrimination in the workplace, what can you do? So you have to have your network, your really strong feminine network. And I think that first of all, you need now hands-on. Okay, this was all about the subjective part, but now the objective part, hands-on. What can you do? I think first of all, you have to map who is in your field of work, that is female, that is in a C-level, or that is in some place that you admire. You have to know that. You have to know by heart who is there, who is doing that. And if you don't have a field of work, a really defined field of work, it's just fine. If you don't know yet on what you want to work with, it's just fine. You can just get somebody that inspires you, and it doesn't need to be from your industry. And after finding that, after making your research, after mapping everything, you contact them. And Microsoft is really not paying me for saying that, but LinkedIn is a really, really cool tool for that, because you can find people, you can see their sort of resumes, and you can contact them. And if you're not doing that yet, I tell you, you'd be impressed, because people usually reply and they usually want to help you. And they are really top people, and they're busy people, and they usually help. They usually want you, they agree to schedule a Zoom call, 15-minute Zoom call, and then just sharing their experience, how they got there, what did they do when they struggled with situations, unfortunate situations such as gender discrimination. So this is one way. Another way you can do is you can try to find a mentorship program. So I'm from the law industry here in Brazil, and there's this mentorship program that is called Women in Law. So this is just one example of things that you can, in this program, they have mentors who have at least 10 years of experience. And then they mentor people who are just starting, just coming out from grad school or from undergrad, and who are still lost. I don't know what to do. Should I do, I don't know, an MBA, or should I focus on starting my work? I don't know. So they guide you. And this is really, really important, because I think this helps you build that self-confidence aspect that we were talking about before. So to sum up, because I really want to listen from Andrea afterwards, and see if we have any questions. But to sum up, I think that connections are the things that we can use for our benefit, because we are not men. We are here talking about a mainly female audience. So what can we do for that? Well, they don't change, and they have to change, but while they don't, we have to really, really, I know it's a coachy thing to say, but you have to believe in yourself, really. And the connections will only make you grow, and they can be a really important tool for tackling situations, hard situations in the workplace. So that was it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Laura. Believe in yourself, just like she said, know your value. I've been saying that since the beginning of this conference. Just for lack of time, we're moving on to our last but not the least beautiful speaker, Andrea Martinez. Andrea, please, from your experience working in the social impact field, what are the opportunities and challenges for women in social entrepreneurship and leadership? And also, what can society do to empower more female leaders? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ogo, and the African Youth Foundation for the invitation. It's an honor for me to be here with these amazing women. It's amazing how, as we have said throughout this, that networking can really take us to move mountains. I just wanted to say that to begin with. And it's a really great question, what you're saying, because normally, and what we have talked about is the main challenges of us being in the entrepreneurship or the tech industry or any other business like. But there's also many opportunities and advantages for us women. Some of them, of what I have heard, is nowadays innovation is a trending topic, and a diverse workforce leads to innovation. It could be in gender, race, age, culture, etc. Also, as some of the other speakers have said, us women excel in soft skills needed for business leadership, such as empathy, self-awareness, communication, integrity, compassion. And as Dunya mentioned, this takes us for us to have a higher return on investment in the long run. So why not invest in us women to be great entrepreneurs? Also, we represent a huge economic power. There's more women in the world than men. Let's take advantage of that. And we offer important consumer insight. Yes, I agree with the challenges. And as Karika was mentioning, there's a lot of, there's the great importance, and as Laura mentioned as well, we all agree that self-confidence is something that we have to work on. We have to first believe in ourselves for others to believe in us. So this is something that is crucial in all women, and it's gonna be difficult, but we have to work it and train our brain each day. Wake up and know, I am here to change the world. I can do this, and all these skills. Have owned your accomplishments and know that you are capable of changing the world. Also, we have to overcome that negative self-talk. There's always us as women telling ourselves that we are not going to be able to do it. Let's change that chip, change that in our minds, because it is possible. There's no need to be fearful. Instead, we have to be fearless. And fearless doesn't mean that you're not afraid to fail, but instead it means that you're willing to overcome failure and learn from it. An advice that I love and I hope you all continue hearing is to fail fast and often. The faster you fail, the closer you are to success. So it's always a learning opportunity. There's no need to be fearful. Instead, please be fearless. And as all have mentioned throughout this amazing panel, building a support network, please. There's always gonna be people willing to help. And of course, as women, can be a little bit more difficult at the beginning. But once you have your support network, once you find those people that you are confident in, you can ask as much as you can. And it's very important to identify what you need and be clear on telling them about those needs. It's important to take a minute for yourself and identify those needs. Once you are clear on that, you're going to be able to help yourself and help others. An example that I want to bring up is, I don't know if you have heard about Sheryl Sandberg with her book, Lean In. I really recommend it to everyone, to every woman and every man to read it. She attended Harvard University and she has been vice president of global online sales for Google and the first COO at Facebook. She's an amazing woman, amazing person. And she's also an example of how to balance business and family. She even mentioned how she's so workaholic and she has to put even more effort because of the misconceptions that men are better than women and you have to make a bigger effort. So even she was like telling a story that she was pregnant and during her maternity leave, she's supposed to like not work at all and just leave the computer in the office and that's it. But instead, she had the crave to take the computer and start working because she said, no, I have to show that being a woman and having a baby is not an interruption for me to be better at work than any other man. But that's wrong. Like, we have to give ourselves that time. It's a human thing. And even though we have those maternity leaves or sometimes that we have to leave because of family things, it doesn't mean that we are less. We can do this and we can handle it, and that's why we are amazing women. So, answering the last part of the question of what can society do to empower more female leaders, I will say that nowadays we are working, maybe in some countries more than others, for the gender equality and inclusivity, making it a policy in every company. So this is a good start, and hopefully it can lead us to great things after. Also, as Lara was saying, it's not, I initially intended to say to teach our kids this since they're young, but it's not something that they are born with. It's something that you have to teach them to keep it, to have that natural non-discrimination attitude, you know, to keep that in mind, even if society or stereotypes or whatever the world is telling them, for them to know since the beginning and be strong on that and be the example for everybody else in order to open those doors for women. And also, I believe Sarah was saying that entrepreneurship in society is not exactly a tool for women just on the social area, but it can be in any area, and I agree. But entrepreneurship it can be the path to leadership for women. We become our own bosses and pay our own salary, and as we said, we have a higher return after in the long run. So let's make noise. Let's make this the new normal, being women on top. Us women, we are amazing. We just have to let free all our potentials and skills. Let the world know we're here and make the world look at us in a different perspective. We can, we have, and we will continue making a huge impact in society. There's no doubt. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrea. We have fast spent time. Please, I'm so sorry about this. Thank you so much. As if you were reading my mind, please, can you drop the details of the book in the chat box for the benefit of those who didn't get the name of the book? Because I was going to ask Jamila how women can balance business and career, but I think you've already done that for us. Please, we are now taking questions. If you have any question, please quickly leave it in the chat box so you can ask any of our speakers. Whilst we're waiting for questions, I quickly want to summarize what our speakers have been saying all day. The first thing is that overall, there is no limitation to what you can achieve as a woman. And you need to educate yourself, network, key into mentorship programs, self-develop yourself. Nobody can do that for you. Self-develop and research. Research is very, very important in networking. Then another thing is you need to have a proper sense of value. Know your worth. Like it's almost sounding cliche, but it's true. You need to know your worth, because if you don't know your worth, people won't be able to value. If you don't value yourself, other people can't value you. Then the next thing is you have to be fearless and be willing to overcome failure. You need to fail in order for you to succeed. So you need to be fearless to overcome any failure. Then maximize your online presence, laud your achievements. Don't ever wait to be spoken to. Men are scared of women that are bold. Don't ever wait to be spoken to. Don't be rude, but don't wait to be spoken to. Pursue your passion, know what works for you. Don't follow the bandwagon. Just know what works for you and know how to adjust your life in that direction. Draw a very, very, very importantly, draw a very sharp line between professional and personal dealings. And above all, we all know that we are women. We are amazing. Just by being a woman, you are an amazing person. So you are here to change the world, just as Andrea has said. So you can only change the world by knowing who you are, discovering yourself daily, and working on yourself. Please, we're still waiting for questions. If you have any question, please leave it in the chat box. Superb presentations. I love all that I have learned. Perfect. That's from Caroline. EAYF admin, build your network. Was waiting for questions. I'm afraid if you don't have any questions, we have to wrap up this session, this conference. Meanwhile, we have a survey form. We're going to send to the email addresses that you registered with us. Please take out time to fill out the survey form. We can only know how much impact we're making if you fill out the survey form. Please, we're waiting for questions. I'm afraid if you don't have any questions, we'll have to end the session here. We have to end the session here. You can like, comment, share, follow EAYF on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, share on all social media platforms. I personally have learned a lot from today's session, so I'm sure if you have learned, you can also share with others for them to benefit from this. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you all. Thank you to all the speakers. Thank you for your time. I'm very excited. Thank you so much for your time. I think we have come to the end of this conference. Thank you for an invitation. This is a one question for any of our speakers. Okay, I think Rosalinda is asking a question. Aside from society, any of your governments are working on spots on the role of female in work environment? I think she's trying to ask whether any government is working on the role of, question is not so clear.
I think if I might jump
yes,
in,
please.
I tried to answer your question on a German perspective, because in Germany, it is actually now, I think since 2 or 3 years, there's a rule that you have to have a certain percentage of seats in your board present with women, or like women have to be placed in the board for a certain percentage. So it's not allowed anymore if you choose a new board member that then you have 100% men on the board. So there has to have, I'm not quite sure about what the percentage is, but there is a percentage now that you have to fill. And this leads to that it's not only on the board, but it goes down in the structure of the organization as well, in the management positions. And this leads to that a lot of women are now empowered to go into management positions and to go into that process of becoming a manager even more, like more quick than men. And sometimes it even feels, for me personally, it feels like it's pushing too much, because now even if you have like a very, very talented man, that would be the perfect fit for the role, you are not able to take that man into that position because you have to fulfill your quota. And then I know that this is a very controversial argument that we're having in Germany as well. Like, I think that the general idea behind is great, and that it's really great to raise the awareness of it and to use something like a governmental push to push women in management positions, women in boards of companies. But on the other hand, sometimes it's really sad because you see somebody who would be the perfect fit not getting it just because of his gender again. So there's sort of gender discrimination the other way around. I hope that I answered the question, Rosalinda, that you had.
I think you did. I think you did. If there are no more questions, I'm afraid we'll have to end this.
Hi, sorry, if I may come in. Hi.
Okay, please can you introduce yourself? Hello?
Oh, hi, can everyone hear me, please?
Yes, we can. Please introduce yourself shortly. Okay.
My name is Raf. I'm the Vice Chairman of EAYF, and then I've been asked to give a vote of thanks. So I just want to thank everyone for coming to today's panel discussions, most especially to thank our speakers who are very wonderful and phenomenal women who took out time from their, I would assume, very busy schedules to impart knowledge on us today. Just to give a little bit of background, when we started the Red Rose Africa project about 2 years ago, the primary aim was to try to create a network for African female entrepreneurs to be able to create a support group to help them maximize their potentials. And then I believe every speaker has highlighted the very importance of that on creating a support network for female entrepreneurs. And I'm very grateful. I'm very happy that we've gone a step further today. So I think we can officially call everyone who has attended, especially our panelists, we call them friends of EAYF. And then with your permission, we would not hesitate to contact you should we need to tap more from your fountains of knowledge. And very important, I believe Ogo has mentioned too, we have sent out the feedback forms, or we will send out the feedback forms. This is very important. If everyone would please take a minute to fill that form, quite important, just to help us to be able to better curate our conferences and discussions in future. So once again, thank you very much. Thank you very much for attending, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Okay, sorry, I'm very, very sorry. We have just one quick question from our live audience on YouTube. The person is asking, how can women break those stereotypes and get more opportunities in the tech industry? Dunya would like to answer that for us. Very briefly, please. We're already out of time.
Yeah, the answer, I already talked about education in my part. So we should start by educating young girls. We should give women more opportunities. And I also believe that networking is an amazing key that can help women have more opportunities in the workplace in general, but in tech industries too, when there is, a networking in tech industry, just go and, as Andrea said, and Kaleka, just go and talk and make yourself heard. Just the first step can be a good start. I believe that networking, education, and the voice of women are the answer for this question. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe she's done speaking. I think that Dunya is done speaking. I don't know if she can hear me. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. Please don't keep it here. Share the word, share it on all social media pages. Thank you to all our speakers once again. Have a very pleasant evening, day, afternoon, whatever time it is there. Bonsoir, Laura.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all the insights. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. What's a wonderful experience. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, thank you. So we're about to end the meeting now. Thanks to everyone who joined us and good luck. Cheers.